Malzberg.
All right, folks, it's Friday. It's midway point of the show, and that can mean only one thing. Well, two things. It's time for Malzberg's Media Madness, and Noel Sheppard, associate editor of Newsbusters.org, is here to join us. Hello, Noel.
Hello, Steve.
First of all, congratulations on your great story that got placed on Drudge today.
Yeah, it was good stuff today.
Yeah, I don't
actually two hits today.
2 hits today. Okay, see, I'm already behind.
Neat.
I'm already behind. No, and you were the one who spread the word about the Forbes piece that you and that's what I want to start with. Yesterday on Newsbusters.org, you linked to and quoted from a Forbes story that talked about back in 2010 from the Federal Register, the June 2010 edition of the Federal Register. Administration officials they predicted that 93 million people would lose their health plans under Obamacare. So it just makes this lie, which Newt Gingrich has compared to Nixon lying, said it's worse. And Bill Kristol today, we had him on, said, it's not a complete analogy, but he thinks this is worse as well.
Oh, I think this is far worse. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, how were people impacted by Watergate directly? They weren't.
No, their lives weren't affected, no.
Right. So here, look, and what's sad about this is it's not like what Forbes did is they broke anything that we didn't know. What they did was they found out what we'd known all along, that the Obama administration also knew it, and that we just don't have a media that in 2010 was willing to discuss this. So instead we find out after it's been implemented and after the re-election and after it's been implemented and after the re-election and after the rule now. How would Roberts view things knowing now what we know about this law?
I wish I could know what was in his head when he changed his mind. Hopefully he wouldn't have, but who the heck knows?
Right. That's right. But this was really quite frankly, I think a bigger bombshell than Lisa Meyer's story from Monday.
Yeah.
Because because this is clearly going to impact millions of people. And I don't know whether you have anybody close to you, any relatives or any friends that are employed by big companies, but they are getting now, I mean, we're now in November, so this is when people get, in October and November is when people who are employed by larger companies get their benefits packages and have to fill out for the coming year. And everybody I'm talking to, and I've been asked not to quote people, but everybody that I'm talking to says their rates are going up, and in their benefits package it specifically says because of the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
So this idea that, I mean, with the way they're trying to float it now is that maybe it's going to impact 15 million people. Nonsense. This is probably going to impact about half of the employees in America.
Well, of course, the 15 million or the 5%, as they like to say, got bad apple policies, substandard policies, junk policies that didn't provide any coverage anyway. And anybody who had it and paid for it is a moron.
That's right.
So don't forget that. Now you mentioned Lisa Myers, and I want to go there as a natural segue since you brought it up, because I was going to go there eventually. Her bombshell on as you wrote about on Monday on the NBC Nightly News was that the White House knew about it for the last 3 years, that it was a lie. But then the story here, though, from your point of view and mine for this segment, is NBC then buried that story, and Lisa Myers even buried that story when she came on later.
Pretty amazing. You've got an investigative, their senior investigative correspondent. I mean, you've been watching Lisa Myers. We've known her for decades. She is clearly a very, very fine.
All the way back to Anita Broderick's interview.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Good memory. That's correct. So here she breaks this bombshell late Monday afternoon, and her own network, NBC Nightly News, devoted 21 seconds to her report and basically kind of soft-soaked the whole thing. The following day, Today's Show doesn't mention it. On Tuesday evening, NBC Nightly News, she comes on and she doesn't even really discuss her story. Basically, it's fairly clear. NBC News came to the decision that we've got a great story here. We'll put it up on our website. But we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
They're not going to discuss it in front of the 8 million. Do you realize now NBC Nightly News is they've been averaging in October, they averaged 8.3 million people an evening. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. Yeah.
They haven't been at those numbers in a while. But no, they weren't going to discuss it with 8.3 million people watching.
I wonder how many calls they got from the good old Obama administration.
That's right. I bet you they did.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I'm not going to bet it. But
Yeah.
It's surprising because we did find out that the Obama administration is putting pressure on insurers, insurance companies execs, to not complain about Obamacare. So clearly the administration right now is very, very concerned.
Absolutely. We're talking to Noel Sheppard, associate editor of Newsbusters.org. Okay, I couldn't wait. I can't wait to play this. This is from just in case you were worried that in San Francisco hookers weren't getting weren't getting Obamacare. No need to worry. This is a CNN Money report. Okay, this is not Saturday Night Live, which it could be. Noel wrote about it, linked the video today. And here it is, cut 33. Sit back and get a load of this.
Each one of these women runs a small business with no access to health care, despite the risks they take with their bodies. This woman is a sex worker. She goes by the name Maxine Holloway. And believe it or not, this isn't a bachelor party.
Oh, here we are. Okay, I got it.
The burlesque act is the entertainment at a grassroots Obamacare registration event called the Healthy Hose Party. The people signing up here are sex workers and their supporters. For them, this truly feels like something to celebrate.
Like, I really honestly do think that access to healthcare should be a human right. And I've been so brainwashed to think that it's such a privilege.
For me, as an in-person escort, my health is slightly more at risk than someone who does not have a lot of contact with other humans in the course of their job.
They printed out paper applications just to make sure the crashing site didn't stop them. Many haven't been covered in years and are particularly high risk.
It's true. I do not have the contact with others that these healthy hoes, that's what they called their party, not me. They're a healthy hose party. Like you said before, if you told me this was The Onion or if this appeared on Saturday Night Live Saturday, I would laugh. This is insanity.
No, it is. And the reason it's insanity is because these people make under $46,000.
We're going to subsidize their health insurance.
They're entitled to subsidies on $1,000.
We're going to subsidize their health insurance.
They're entitled to subsidies on a month. And the insurance is only going to cost like about $300 or $250 or something like that. So she's only going to be shelling out $60. The taxpayers and the healthy young insureds who they hope sign up are paying for prostitutes' health coverage. Now, I was under the impression that prostitution was still illegal in this country, or at least in most states. Correct? I guess it's not illegal in Nevada.
Yeah, right. Only in Nevada, but it's not legal. It's not legal in San Francisco.
No, it's not legal in San Francisco yet. Federal tax dollars under the Affordable Care Act are going to go to pay for people doing illegal things to get health insurance. Now, I don't want to get into the morality of prostitution and whether it should be illegal or illegal.
But the
reality is at this point in time, it is.
Right.
It's against the law. But we're going to be subsidizing with federal tax dollars the insurance policies of hookers.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Well, look, we need healthy hoes. What can I tell you?
And by the way, I got to tell you, I've gotten more hate mail and hate tweets about this than anything I've written in a while.
What do they call you?
I'm insensitive.
Insensitive.
I'm insensitive. Why aren't these people entitled to health care?
Oh,
my answer is they are entitled, but why should the taxpayers pay for it? Unbelievable.
All right, let's put up on the screen for those watching Newsmax TV. For the others, we'll explain the New Yorker magazine cover. And I believe, let me see. I believe that this is one of the stories one of the stories that you had linked on Drudge. This is describe for the folks what this cover is all about, as they now pile on Obama and Sebelius and crew.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. The New Yorker magazine is a very, very left-leaning publication. There's no question about that. I mean, I think you would agree.
Absolutely.
It's to the left of the New York Times. I mean,
yeah.
And as is New York Magazine. These are very, very liberal publications. And there you've got not a picture, but more of a painting, let's say, or an illustration. It looks like it could be an old Commodore 64 or even older. It looks like it could be an old Commodore 64 or even older. And he's putting in a floppy disk, and of course, it's the old-fashioned paper floppy disks. Remember those?
Oh yeah,
the bigger ones. Those have probably been gone for 15, 20 years, and Obama's holding up a cell phone,
which is about as big as him. Yeah.
It's great, and basically it's depicting the administration as being technically in the dark ages. It's a marvelous shot.
It really is. It really is. And let's see if we could get in. Let's talk a little bit about James Cameron here. I don't have time to play the bite now, but James Cameron got Matt Damon and Harrison Ford and Arnold Schwarzenegger to make this climate thing, years of living dangerously. And this comes, by the way, as Obama today signed an executive order mandating all federal, state, and local governments to start preparing. Any future projects have to be ready for the impact of global warming, which is just more regulations and more regulations. But they're trying to scare people. The impact of global warming, which is just more regulations and more regulations. But they're trying to scare people.
And Leslie Stahl. And the other thing that's interesting is the list of science advisors is great, because you've got Heidi Cullen, formerly of the Weather Channel. You've got James Hansen, who I believe resigned from the Goddard Space Institute, or the Goddard Institute for Space Studies recently. You've got Michael Mann of the totally discredited hockey stick graph, and Joseph Romm of Think Broad hockey stick graph, and Joseph Romm of Think Broad, totally discredited. And the other thing that's interesting about Cameron himself is he set up years ago in 2010. He commissioned, and he was going to pay everybody to show up to do a global warming debate. And he had a bunch of people on our side that were going to debate him, and a bunch of people on his side.
Right.
And they talked him out of it. And at the last minute, he canceled his and a bunch of people on his side.
Right.
And they talked him out of it. And at the last minute, he canceled his.
It's a great job as always, and congratulations on the links on Drudge. Everybody deserves to see those, and we'll talk to you next week, my friend. Thank you.
Good. A nice weekend.
All right, Noel Sheppard, ladies and gentlemen. Here. There's one story because of time. We have a hard break to get to, but when we come back, Noel was kind enough to cover our interview with George Will. We'll play, in case you missed that, the soundbite with Al Sharpton on the Steve Malzberg Show. You know it, Newsmax TV and radio, 877 Newsmax.